Alright guys, yesterday Dokkan dropped the news that we'll be getting a producer's letter on the 10th of this month, 7 o'clock PST, where they're going to drop info on the May events, which is going to be part 2 content for Golden Week. Maybe something extra for Goku, Gohan and Goten Day, even though we've already had the data download. A lot of the stuff is already in the game, and let's be honest, it's looking a little bit empty. So fingers crossed for some more. We're going to get schedule updates, and of course, the main reason why we're getting this producer's letter, a new character's reveal, which will be the part 2 Yellow Coin LR for Golden Week. So I have my top 3 picks of who I want and think are most likely to be seen as the part 2 LR, and we're starting with a Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. Now, Dokkan could do this a few ways. It could be a base Kefla that transforms once. It could be a base Kefla that transforms twice. It could be a base Kefla that starts in SSJ and transforms once, or it could be a outright Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, because I personally believe we don't really have too many out-and-out Keflas in the game, especially in Super Saiyan 2. Or I've seen a few suggestions of a Kale and Khalifa that do fuse, with it looking likely that the EZA going into part 2 will be Tech Kale and Khalifa who do fuse. I feel like that contradicts quite a lot. I know we saw the same with PyCon not too long ago. However, I feel like it's best if they save that, because I've been hearing words of reversible exchange, which I think for Kale and Khalifa would be a sick idea to do. But instead of a Yellow Coin LR, I think like they could save that for maybe a Dokkan Fest, maybe a Dokkan Fest LR. They could save that to something a bit more hype. And as I said, we haven't really got any just out and out Super Saiyan 2 Keflas in the game. So in terms of what they could do, usually with Kefla units, they make her do a lot of damage and they give her a ton of dodge. So I'm going to follow the same pattern. So this one stacks. The strength one kind of has a similar build as well. Give her 50% attack. 50% attack stacks, maybe even 100%. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. Give her a big attack stack, at least 50%. Give her some defense as well. You know, I'd like to see her stack both. However, typically they don't do that. So 50% at least on the stack of attack, and then give her like 30-50% defense for the turn. Don't worry, there's some additionals coming. Kefla's also a great choice as well, because not only does she fit in with Beam, you know, with SSBK and then also Hit and Universe 6, etc. It also gives Universe 6 a massive buff, which they really, really need, especially with that being a part of Hit's 220 lead. Also, he has the Universe 6 category conditions in his passive. Kefla would be a massive help and a great unit to work with the potential EZA of Tech Kane and Khalifa in part 2 of Golden Week. So that way Universe 6 has a bunch of great new units. Well, hopefully they're good. Helps out hits conditions. And then not only that as well, I said it fits the theme. And then the EZA and then the part 2 LR would work really well together. So we're then going to ignore this because, of course, she's going to start fused. We could follow the trend. You know, Dokkan loves to follow a trend of, you know, Universe 6, Universe 7. They have, you know, 6 and 7s appear in the passive to kind of follow a trend, follow a pattern. We can do that. We can do that. That's fine. So Kefla starts with 160% attack and defense, and she starts with like key plus 3 or 4. I feel like that's reasonable. So because she's a stacker, we're going to give her an additional. A built-in additional that is a 50% chance at least of becoming a super attack. I'm going to go 70 because we want her to stack. We also want to get as many defensive raises on super as possible, since it's only going to be 30-50% defense for the turn. So we're definitely going to give her a built-in additional, 50%, 70% chance. Then we're going to give her another one because she's a stacker. We want her to stack as much as possible. We're really going to lean into the dodge or die high damaging Kefla units that Dokkan typically do. And we're going to give her another additional, which is guaranteed as long as there is another Universe 6 category unit attacking in the same turn, or a full Universe 6 category rotation. Even more reason to have part 2 LR Kefla, the Tech EZA, that's 2 Universe 6 units, hit, dual hits, that's 4. Even more reason to do so. As I said, typically Dokkan give Kefla dodge or die, so we can start with 50%, but I'm going to go 70. I want her to be ridiculously good. We are also sitting in a dodge or die cancelling meta, so we kind of need to flesh her out a little bit. So we could give her some damage reduction. However, I don't see them doing this, but I'm going to take a little bit of inspiration from Hit and Goku and apply it to Kefla. So a lot of the times, they always give Kefla a lot of extra attack and defense, a lot of extra buffs from her gaining orbs. So she's going to be our own orb changer. She's going to change random orbs to tech orbs, and then we're going to do it like this. So 3 orbs. She can gain extra attack, maybe like a 30%, maybe like a 60%. Something small, something light, something minor. If you get 6 orbs, Kefla can then get an extra 60% attack and defense. And then also, per orb she picks up, you are also gaining dodge and damage reduction. So this is where I'm going to slide in some base damage reduction. She's going to have 70% chance to dodge, so the damage reduction can't really be too high, especially of her building it up. Maybe we can give her along the lines of like a little 30%. A little 30% damage reduction. And then per orb she picks up, she will gain 6%, Universe 6, damage reduction and dodge. So that way she can range anywhere from the base she starts with to almost guaranteed dodge and a lot of extra damage reduction. And along the way, every time she picks up 3 sets of orbs, so 3, 60% extra attack, 6, 60% extra attack and defense, and then 9, she can get an extra 60% attack and defense again, maybe more, and then 12, etc. Really flesh her out. And then when attacking, or when usually Dokkan words it a lot like this at the moment, it will be when attacking with 12 or more keys, so basically on super, she can then get an extra 60. I'd actually go balls to the wall and give her an extra 160, because 160 attack and defense is a little bit low to start with at the start of turn, unless you're getting a ton of extra, which she kind of does, but it's all RNG related, and we want to kind of give her a little bit of a safety net. So when attacking with 12 or more key, however you want to phrase it, she gets an extra 160 attack and defense on super, essentially. Really pad her out. And then maybe just a bit extra to give her a slot 1 capability. Maybe before she attacks, she gains like an extra 20-30% damage reduction. That way you can put her in slot 1. You also have a lot of dodge to contend with as well. You also have a lot of damage reduction built up from the orbs and her being on her own orb changer. But then it doesn't make her too broken to go in slot 1. Especially if Tech Kelly Khalifa get an easy A, she can go in slot 1, they can go in slot 2. I'm going to say it again because I've been saying it for months. We do not have a lot of slot 1 units in the game. Universe 6 especially doesn't have any slot 1 units. We kind of need some. And I think that's a pretty good idea to go with for a part 2 Yellow Coin LR Kefla. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. My second choice for the Golden Week part 2 LR is a new Super Saiyan Kaioken Goku. A unit that, of course, recently Easy Aid not too long ago, and we haven't seen no other representation in the game since 2017. That's 8 whole years. It's time Super Saiyan Kaioken got shown some love. So, while it doesn't help out Hit, it will help out Tech SSBK. He will work well with the Super Easy A SSBK as well, which is great. It also continues to buff tournament participants, which Dokkan has been doing for the last couple months, starting from Cell. Not only that as well, we recently saw Dokkan go full circle with Pycon, dropping both the AGL and Strength EZAs, then dropping a brand new Part 2 Yellow Coin LR literally a month or 2 ago. So I'm going to do the same thing now with SSJ Kaioken, and they could do this 1 or 2 ways. I'm not overly bothered if it does link with the side EZA. Doesn't need to. You can get some use out of the EZA, but he's very risky to use, and at some points may not be quite worth it. So we can either just see a flat out and outright Super Saiyan Kaioken Goku, or we could attach it to an active skill. So whatever the conditions could be, once you fulfill them, of course, you activate Kaioken. You transform. But then taking some inspiration from Carnival LR Broly, when you do use his active skill, not only will Kaioken Goku transform, or Goku transform into Kaioken, he will then get a nice attack and defense buff for the remainder of the fight, say 20-30%, or maybe, because it does also tie into Goku, Gohan, and Goten Day with it being a Goku unit, 59% attack and defense for the rest of battle. And that's another reason why this unit works so well, because not only does it buff tournament participants and the current celebration going on, but it can also tie in with Goku, Gohan, and Goten Day with it being a Goku. So with that being said, that's going to be heavy influence on the passive. So I'm going to have a similar passive to this. Key +3, key +4. attack and defense of 259%. I'm really going to go balls to the wall. Tech SSBK has left a bitter taste in my mouth. We're going to make this guy insane. 70% chance to dodge. We're not going to have any of the orb gimmick here. I just think it's too gimmicky. It's too risky. We're going to make him a beast. We can keep the receiving and attack survives a KO. Doesn't have to be there. It's not needed. But we can keep it. When HP is... I don't really mind what the condition is. It has to be kind of a high condition for it to be worth it. So maybe 70% or more. Maybe 77% or more. Maybe 80% or more. Either or. That rhymed. Look at me go. We're going to give him an extra 159% defense. Again, Goku Day. The Goku numbers. When HP is 80% or less, or 70% or less, or 77% or less, we're then going to give him an extra 159% attack. Then, when attacking with 12 or more ki, or when attacking on super, any way they decide to do this, I don't mind. An extra 159% attack and defense. And then also, he's going to have a built-in additional of 50-70% chance. And then not only that, I'm going to give him built-in crit. This doesn't all need to be when attacking. Maybe crit here and then the additional in here. And then this is where the AGL SSBK Super Easy A inspiration comes in. And then I'm going to give him base damage reduction as well. That could be 30 or 40%. Oh, actually, that could be 59%. We're going to carry on with the Goku Day theme. We're going to give him 59% base damage reduction. Then when attacking, we're going to give him a bit extra. So not only does he have the extra attack and defense, not only does he have crit built in, we're then going to follow the theme because AGL SSBK Super Easy A is attack and chance to crit 20% when HP is 77% or less. And the same thing again by 30% when HP is 59% or less. So we're going to do 70, 77, 80, whichever this is going to be, when attacking is going to be the same. We're then going to give Kaioken Goku another 59% attack and defense. And then we're going to give him another 59% attack and defense when HP is 59% or less. Don't also have to give him crit chance. Can do. Give him even more. Again, follow the same kind of trend as AGL SSBK. And then, do we make him a slot 1 unit? Again, we do kind of need one. I've been saying it for months. We do kind of need one, but I don't see them doing it, so I'm not going to give it to him. Maybe also when he drops to 59% HP, we have a little condition down here. When he drops to 59% HP or less, maybe he then gets another 159% attack and defense. And then we also give him another 20-30% damage reduction. And maybe he can turn into a slot 1 unit if he has enough defense to go with it. Or maybe not, but essentially flesh him out. As I said, the whole high risk, high reward, having Kaioken units drop to low HP, yes, it's risky with how hard enemies are hitting. But if you balance it out by making these Kaioken units strong enough to be able to compete even if your health is that low, the high risk, high reward suddenly becomes worth it. You know, we can add a bit extra in there for him. You know, maybe some extra dodge chance, maybe some more damage reduction, maybe some more attack and defense here or there. But I think for the time being, for a yellow coin LR, I'm going to keep it a little bit tamed because already in my head, that seems really, really strong. But if we wanted to make him stronger than that, by all means, Dokkan, I'm here for it. My third and final choice is going to be an LR Caulifla, a unit that has had kind of little representation compared to, say, Kale, Kefla. Kefla makes sense, but we literally got Dokkan vs Kale like at least 2 years ago at this point. So I feel like Caulifla deserves a little bit of some love. And I'm going to work off this one, even though, again, I don't mind the way Dokkan does this. We could have a base one that transforms into Super Saiyan, a base one that transforms into Super Saiyan 2. We could have a Super Saiyan 1 that transforms into Super Saiyan 2. Either way they want to do it, I really do not mind. I said I just want to work off of this one because she's that good. And the first thing I want to keep, especially because a lot of units have been doing it nowadays, is the stack. No measly 20%, I want at least 30% stacking on attack and defense for both. Also, it's another Universe 6 unit. It can help out hits category the same way Kefla will do, and the same way she'll link very well with a Part 2 Easy A for Tech Kale and Caulifla. It will help out not only Universe 6 as a category, but then it will also buff hit as well with his Universe 6 category conditions. and then also fits tournament participants. So we're ticking all the boxes. We're ticking all of them off. So we're going to give her like key +2, key +3, attack and defense of 160. Then we're going to give her a flat 50% chance to dodge. Then per your Universe 6 category ally on the team, no peppy girls. I mean, we can have that, but per Universe 6 category ally on the team, we're going to give her 6% attack and defense with also 6% extra chance to dodge. Then we're also going to have, when there is a Universe 6 category ally or a full rotation, we're going to have a guaranteed additional to help with the stacking. And then also a built-in 50% chance to additional super or a 70% chance to additional super. Either way, give her a few additionals and one guaranteed if you fit the conditions to help with the stacking we're going to have up here. That's the whole point of stacking units. You want them to stack. Going to combine the Tech EZA with the AGL EZA, and I'm also going to give her a Nullify. So not only are we going to give her 50% chance to dodge and dodge build up, we're also going to give her, when receiving a super attack, it could literally be Key Blast, however they want to do it, or just any super attack. We're then going to give her a 30 or 50% chance to also nullify and counter. Really make her something to deal with. And then also a lot of KO units and Caulifla units, they have this condition, which is typically when there is a KO attacking in the same turn. I'm going to give it to her, but it's not going to be something that is needed. It's going to be something that is nice to have, helpful, a nice bonus, but not something that is needed. So when there is a KO attacking in the same turn, we're going to have attacks effective against all types. I feel like that is the safest way to do it, whereas kind of like you don't feel forced to run one, but it's nice to have the bonus. Then before attacking, I'm really going to lean into the dodge here. I'm going to give Caulifla an extra 10 or 20% chance to dodge. That way you can put her in slot 1, and she's a great slot 1 unit because she's almost guaranteed to dodge. Although again, she is also in a non-dodge or die meta, a dodge cancelling meta, which hopefully we come out very, very soon. This is where the stacking helps. And then when attacking, we're going to give her like an extra 160% attack and defense to really pad her out a bit, really flesh her out. And I think overall that might work quite well. Maybe I'm leaving her a little bit tamed. Maybe they can make her a little bit better, which by all means, again, Dokkan, if you want to, go for it. But I don't want to go too crazy because every time I think I have a good idea, Dokkan kind of does like a very, very dulled down, babied version of it. Goku and Hit being a mega example of that. But essentially that, but better. Those are my top 3 choices. There are some other options they could do. They could very much well do a Kale. We could even see a Vados. We could see a Champa. I've seen some people suggest Champa and Vados because we do have a Beerus and Whis. Botama Getter's not a bad shout either. You know, we've already talked about a Kale Caulifla, a Kefla, etc. Maybe even a Kaba. A Kaba also fits the same way Kale Caulifla does, the same way Kefla does. That is also another good option we could have. And then the other option that I've also seen, which I wouldn't mind a new one of, is a reversible exchange, a tag Goku in Hit, which I think would work really, really sick, especially with the more recent EZA of the dual one we have. I feel like that would be dope. But all will be revealed soon on the 10th of this month, 7 o'clock PST. Tomorrow evening for a lot of you, early hours for me. We'll be seeing who the Part 2 LR is going to be and what any of the Part 2 Golden Week content is. And if we're getting anything else to do with Goku, Gohan, and Goten Day. Let me know your thoughts, who you'd want to see for the Part 2 LR down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, grow your day, and peace.